part wasn't going to be there. And it wasn't worth playing then if I wasn't going to have fun and enjoy it.
Magic Johnson was never just the smile. That smile became famous, but it was never the full story. From the moment he stepped into the NBA, he entered a league built on hierarchy, intimidation, and memory. And in that environment, nothing was forgotten, especially disrespect. The late 1970s and 1980s were not gentle years. The NBA was split East versus West, old power versus rising stars. Veterans controlled the league with presence and attitude as much as skill. Rookies were not embraced. They were tested, through sharp words, through dismissive looks, through actions meant to remind them that talent alone did not grant status. Magic arrived carrying everything that made veterans uncomfortable. A point guard in a big body, a player who smiled while others tried to intimidate, a leader who played with joy in a league that demanded severity. To many opponents, that joy looked like weakness. To others, it looked like an invitation to cross lines. And some did exactly that, openly treating him as if he had not earned his place. Magic did not respond the way they expected. He did not argue. He did not trade words. He did not defend himself in interviews. He remembered. And when games reached moments where respect could no longer be debated, he answered with control, authority, and results. This is not a story about playful rivalries. These were real moments of being looked down on. And to understand why Magic Johnson never forgot them, we first need to understand who he was when he entered the NBA. Magic Johnson did not enter the NBA as a project or a curiosity. He arrived as a proven winner with expectations that were unusually heavy for a young player. Raised in Michigan, shaped by competition early, he learned to see basketball as a battle for control, not applause. At Michigan State, he had already tasted what it meant to lead under pressure, to win on the biggest stage, and to be judged not by style but by results. When he joined the Los Angeles Lakers, the spotlight was immediate. He was asked to command veterans to revive a franchise and to do it without hesitation. His size made him different. His vision made him dangerous. But his personality confused people. Many mistook his calm confidence for softness. Others believed his joyful approach meant he could be pushed, tested, or spoken down to. What defined Magic was not how he spoke, but how he processed everything around him. He paid close attention to tone, to behavior, to moments where respect was withheld. He understood that in the NBA of that era, silence was often louder than insults. And he understood that the only real response was performance. The players Magic remembered most were not always the loudest rivals. They were the ones who made him feel underestimated. And those moments stayed with him far longer than any praise. And that is where this story truly begins. Number 5. Isiah Thomas. From the moment their paths crossed, the tension was unmistakable. Isiah Thomas represented a different philosophy, a different power center, and a different way of asserting dominance in the NBA. As the leader of the Detroit Pistons, he came from the East, a conference defined by physical pressure, psychological warfare, and an uncompromising veteran culture. Respect there was not implied, it was enforced. To Isiah, Magic Johnson was everything that threatened that order. A West Coast star with a smile, a point guard who celebrated creativity instead of intimidation, someone the media embraced instantly. From early encounters, the tone was clear. Isiah spoke and acted as if Magic's success was inflated by circumstance, by teammates, by image. There was an unspoken suggestion that Magic was protected while others fought through chaos. That attitude surfaced repeatedly. On the floor, Isiah tested Magic with constant pressure, aggressive switches, and subtle signals meant to challenge his authority. Off the floor, there were comments and behaviors that framed Magic as a media favorite rather than a hardened competitor. It was not friendly rivalry. It was a deliberate attempt to reduce Magic's standing among elite guards of the era. Magic never confronted Isiah publicly. He never argued the point. He never tried to win the narrative. Instead, he absorbed it. And when the stakes rose, his response was clear. Against Detroit, Magic played with focus and control, dictating tempo, neutralizing pressure, and forcing the game into spaces where Isiah's tactics lost their edge. In those moments, Magic showed that leadership did not need to announce itself. It only needed to be undeniable. The climax of their tension was never a single incident. It was sustained. Series after series, matchup after matchup, Magic proved that joy did not exclude toughness and that composure could dismantle aggression. Every win became a quiet rebuttal. Every controlled performance chipped away at the idea that he was less serious, less battle-ready, or less deserving. Afterward, the relationship never softened into friendship. There was acknowledgement, but no warmth. Isiah remained competitive, guarded, and firm in his worldview. Magic understood that. He did not seek reconciliation. What mattered was that the message had been delivered on the court. For Magic Johnson, Isiah Thomas was the first clear reminder that smiles invited challenge in this league, and that respect, once questioned, had to be taken back through results alone. Number 4. Larry Bird. The tension between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did not begin with hostility. It began with comparison. And in the NBA, comparison is often more dangerous than open confrontation. From the moment they entered the league, Bird was framed as the counterweight to Magic. East versus West. Discipline versus creativity. Grit versus flair. That narrative shaped how Bird approached Magic not as a peer, but as a rival whose image needed to be challenged. Larry Bird came from a culture that valued toughness above all else. The Eastern Conference, especially Boston, was built on proving something every night. To Bird, Magic's smile and showmanship looked like an advantage granted by circumstance. Media attention leaned west. The Lakers were celebrated. And Bird never hid his belief that Magic was praised more for style than for substance. That belief surfaced in subtle but sharp ways. Bird played Magic with a visible edge. He spoke through his actions, through deliberate physicality, through moments meant to disrupt rhythm and confidence. There were comments, looks, and gestures that suggested Magic was enjoying the spotlight while others carried the grind. It was not loud disrespect. It was colder than that. It was dismissal, disguised as competitiveness. Magic noticed everything. He understood that Bird was not attacking his game. He was challenging his legitimacy. The idea that Magic's success came from flair, not toughness, cut deeper than trash talk ever could. And Magic chose not to answer with words. He answered with command. When the Lakers faced the Celtics on the biggest stages, Magic shifted gears. He slowed the game. He controlled possessions. He made Bird defend in space. Each finals matchup became a referendum on the question Bird's attitude implied. Was Magic just entertaining, or was he dominant? Time and again, the answer came through execution, not expression. The climax of their rivalry was not a single play, but an era. Championships decided by inches, performances measured by control. Magic proved that joy did not mean softness, and that leadership could wear a smile without losing authority. Bird never fully conceded publicly, but the results spoke clearly enough. There was respect, but it was earned reluctantly. No friendship followed, only acknowledgement shaped by battles neither man forgot. For Magic Johnson, Larry Bird represented a different kind of disrespect. Not open hostility, but the refusal to fully accept him as equal until the evidence became overwhelming. And that made the lesson permanent. Number 3. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman never hid his intentions. Where others used words or posture, Rodman used disruption. He played to unsettle, to distract, to invade space, both physical and mental. And when his path crossed with Magic Johnson, that approach crossed a line from competition into deliberate disrespect. Rodman emerged from the same Detroit culture that believed intimidation was a legitimate tool. But unlike traditional enforcers, his tactics were psychological. He treated opponents as targets rather than equals. Against Magic, that meant constant provocation, crowding him, bumping him off the ball, ignoring him in moments meant to signal hierarchy. Rodman's message was simple: the smile would not protect you here. What made it worse was intent. Rodman was not challenging Magic's skill. He was challenging his composure. He behaved as if Magic's leadership could be destabilized, as if joy could be shaken into frustration. There were moments where Rodman openly dismissed Magic's presence, turning away, smirking, acting as though he did not deserve acknowledgement. It was disrespect by erasure. Magic noticed immediately, and he understood what Rodman was trying to do. This was not rivalry, it was provocation, designed to force reaction. And Magic refused to give it. He did not confront Rodman. He did not engage in theatrics. He tightened control of the game instead. Slower pace, sharper reads, passes delivered where Rodman could not interfere. The climax of their tension came in high-pressure games where Rodman's chaos lost its effect. The more Rodman tried to unsettle him, the calmer Magic became. And that contrast exposed everything. Rodman fed off disorder. Magic thrived in structure. Every possession Magic controlled was a reminder that intimidation only worked if the target accepted it. After those battles, Rodman never softened his behavior. Respect was never offered. But something shifted. The attempts to provoke stopped carrying weight. Magic had shown that disruption without dominance was empty. That mind games failed when the opponent refused to be pulled inside them. For Magic Johnson, Dennis Rodman represented a different category of disrespect. Not doubt, not dismissal, but intentional disruption meant to strip him of control. And by overcoming that, Magic reinforced a lesson that defined his career. Authority does not come from confrontation. It comes from command. And the deeper the disrespect, the calmer he became. Number 2. Michael Jordan. With Michael Jordan, the disrespect was never loud. It was sharper than that. It lived in posture, in tone, in the quiet certainty that he was coming to take something. Jordan never treated Magic Johnson as a mentor or a symbol to admire. He treated him as a barrier. When Jordan entered the league, Magic represented the existing order: showtime, championships, control of the biggest stages. To Jordan, that status was not untouchable. It was temporary. And his behavior reflected that belief from the start. There was no deference, no hesitation, no acknowledgement that Magic had already built a legacy. On the court, Jordan challenged Magic's authority directly. He attacked his space, he tested his leadership, he played as if the era already belonged to him. The message was clear. Magic was not a figure to be respected, he was a checkpoint to be passed. That attitude surfaced in matchups where Jordan refused to slow down, refused to adapt to Magic's rhythm, and instead imposed his own pace without compromise. Magic felt it immediately. This was not trash talk or provocation. This was something colder. Jordan behaved as if Magic's dominance was already fading, as if the smile, the control, the titles were part of a chapter that was closing. That kind of dismissal carried weight, especially coming from someone young enough to represent the future. Magic did not confront Jordan over it. He understood the nature of the challenge. Jordan was not disrespecting him personally. He was denying his relevance. And the only response was to meet him on the court, possession by possession, forcing Jordan to earn every assumption he made. The climax came when the league itself shifted, when Jordan's rise coincided with Magic's final battles. Jordan won. The future arrived. But the tension never softened into mutual warmth. There was acknowledgement, not closeness. Respect earned through outcome, not through attitude. For Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan represented the most dangerous form of disrespect. Not doubt, not provocation, but the belief that you are already finished. And Magic never forgot how that felt, which is why only one name remains. The most complicated one of all. Number 1. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This was the most complicated form of disrespect Magic Johnson ever faced, because it did not come from an opponent. It came from inside his own team, from a legend who already stood above everyone else. When Magic arrived in Los Angeles, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the Lakers, the scoring titles, the MVPs, the authority. He was older, established, and deeply protective of hierarchy. To Kareem, the league was built on order, discipline, and earned silence. And suddenly, a young point guard with a smile was placed beside him, celebrated by the media, embraced by fans, and trusted immediately with control. From the beginning, there was distance. Kareem did not welcome Magic as an equal. He did not guide him openly. He kept communication short, guarded, and cold. It was never personal in words, but it was unmistakable in tone. Magic was treated like a temporary phenomenon rather than a future leader. Decisions were questioned, style was judged, authority was withheld. For Magic, this cut deeper than anything he had faced from rivals, because it came from someone wearing the same uniform, someone he was expected to follow, not fight. Kareem's silence carried weight. It suggested that Magic had not yet earned the right to lead, to speak, or to redefine how the team functioned. Magic never challenged Kareem publicly, he never forced confrontation. Instead, he adjusted. He learned when to step back and when to assert control. He led without asking permission. And over time, through championships, finals performances, and moments where the team needed direction, the balance shifted. The climax was not explosive, it was gradual. Kareem saw that Magic was not a distraction. He was not temporary. He was essential. Respect arrived late, but it arrived. Not through conversation, but through necessity. For Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar represented the hardest lesson of all, that sometimes the deepest disrespect comes quietly, and that earning respect from within is far more difficult than taking it from opponents. And with that, the list is complete. Magic Johnson's career is often summarized with joy, with flair, with the idea that basketball came easily to him. But that version ignores what truly shaped him. Disrespect did. The 5 names on this list were not chosen because they were the loudest or the most famous. They mattered because each one, in a different way, challenged Magic's legitimacy. Isiah Thomas tried to reduce him to a media favorite. Larry Bird questioned his toughness through comparison and cold dismissal. Dennis Rodman attempted to destabilize him through constant provocation. Michael Jordan treated him as a chapter already closing. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar withheld recognition when it mattered most from inside the same locker room. Magic never responded the way people expected. He did not shout, he did not argue, he did not build rivalries through words, he absorbed everything. And when the moment came, he answered with control, timing, and results that could not be debated. That is the real through line of his legacy. Magic Johnson did not need to announce authority, he earned it possession by possession. In an NBA that respected intimidation, he proved composure could dominate. In a league that tested rookies relentlessly, he showed memory was a weapon. These were not playful rivalries. These were moments where respect was denied on purpose, and Magic never forgot them. Because in the end, greatness is not defined by who applauds you. It is defined by who tries to diminish you and how you respond when they do. So the question remains, in a league as unforgiving as the NBA of that era, could anyone else have smiled through that level of disrespect and still controlled the game the way Magic Johnson did? That answer is written in history.